Congratulations, you're at the end of the third module of this course. That is awesome. The fact that you're listening to this means that you're someone who wants to make it. Now, if you watched all the videos that came before this, I wouldn't be surprised if you're feeling a little overwhelmed. It's a lot to take in. If you followed my instructions from the first video in this module and stopped after every video to do the accelerator worksheets, your brain is probably full of different ideas and concepts on how to make your next few videos viral using the remix and infotainment strategies. But based on the experience we've had teaching our beta students, you probably have one more thought in your mind at the end of this all. You might be worried that you'll spend a ton of time creating content only to have it go to waste. You might be worried about failing when you try to make your own viral content. You might even be confused and not know exactly where to start. If you're feeling these things right now, don't worry, it's all totally normal. It's how you handle these feelings that will determine your success. There are two ways to approach a roadblock. One, frustration, or two, as an opportunity to learn. Which one should you pick? Hopefully it's pretty obvious to you. Don't be the person that gets face to face with an obstacle and then thinks, wow, this really sucks, I don't want to do this anymore. If that described you in the past, I want you to do something for me. Throw that old you out. Get rid of him. Imagine yourself physically throwing that person out of your life and replacing him with a new you. This new you is different. He or she is someone who views obstacles in a completely different light. This new you sees challenges as chances to learn, to improve, and even to have fun. You cannot succeed until you adopt this mindset. I call it finding joy in the journey. When you find joy in the journey, you enjoy creating content for the sake of creating content without being pinned down by whether or not it will succeed. You constantly experiment with new ideas, even if they fail, because you like doing it. And you have fun and are optimistic every step of the way. People with a wrong version of this mindset are fighting an uphill battle. They're only after the end goal. All they want is the money or the success, and that makes it impossible to enjoy putting in the hard work that is required to accomplish these goals. The truth is, you'll never get what you want or be happy if you judge yourself by success only. The most successful people in any area are the ones who enjoy the journey of chasing success, rather than just wanting the end result. More than anything, it's this mindset that will determine whether you ultimately succeed or fail at creating a successful channel. Maybe that sounds harsh, but it's the truth. If you want to succeed, you must find joy in the journey. Now, maybe you're wondering, why are we even explaining this to you in the first place? It's because creating content is hard. It's different than anything else you've probably done in your life. It's not math or accounting or playing a video game where there's only one right answer or one right way to succeed. Content is an art, and in order to consistently create shareable viral content, you need to go through numerous iterations of your ideas before you hit on the one that really works. In fact, in the creative process, the failures are part of the process. You absolutely have to experience a lot of failures in order to learn enough to succeed. That's why we created this video. When you're creating your content, you're going to run into a challenge that you think is impossible. You're going to spend a lot of time creating something and it's going to flop. You're going to want to take a break, give up, or stop working. When that happens, play this video again. When you're faced with what you think is an impossible challenge, what it really is a brick wall. You think they're impossible to break through, when in reality, all it takes is some hard work. Randy Pausch gave this quote in a famous speech, and it explains the concept perfectly. He says, "The brick walls are there for a reason. The brick walls are not there to keep us out. The brick walls are there to give us a chance to show how badly we want something. Because the brick walls are there to stop the people who don't want it badly enough." Now, do you want to guarantee your success? When you're faced with a brick wall, and trust me, you will be, view it as an opportunity to learn. Facing an obstacle is a good thing. Keep a positive attitude and view each failure as an opportunity to learn something new. If you can internalize that, you will be unstoppable. Now, I want to end this section on one more note, specifically related to content creation. We've mentioned it before, but haven't spelled it out for you, and I think it's crucial that we take some time to talk about it. It's the concept of thinking big. Thinking big is the opposite of what most people do. Most people think it's easier to think small and make safe decisions. They're afraid of failure, and that fear makes them end up doing exactly what they were trying to avoid. That's why you see so many people making boring content. Boring content is safe. It's not going to get you much viewership, but it's also not going to make you any enemies. That's the mindset of someone thinking small. They're afraid to be polarizing. They're afraid to be controversial because they're afraid of the potential downside. They don't want to stick their neck out if it's not guaranteed to be successful. But the thing is, by not thinking big, they will never stand out. They will never get the results they're after because big wins don't come from people who think small. You need to take risks and try to innovate on ideas that might fail, and you have to do that in order to find one that will succeed. Here's the thing. People who think small think they're more likely to have small success, but they're so incredibly wrong. You know how I know that? Because we faced a decision very similar to this back when we started one of our channels. Our channel revolved around dating advice for men, and there were two paths we could have taken. The safe path, the one that guaranteed us a modicum of success, was to become a dating coach. There were thousands of other dating coaches at that time, and it would be pretty easy to take over a small part of that market. On the other hand, we could think big. We could choose to innovate, take risks, and have a shot at big success. We weren't guaranteed anything. Our channel could have easily failed. We didn't know it would be successful before we started putting out videos, but it did work. And because we took a chance and forced ourselves to think big, we ended up way more successful than if we took the safe path. People who think small are crippling themselves and their success without even knowing it. To put it bluntly, thinking small is silly and you should never do it. Instead, look at what your competitors are doing and say to yourself, what can I do to make my content 10, no, 100 times better than theirs? That's the kind of thinking that will help you become massively successful. I like to think of it this way. Imagine your niche is a pie. If you do what everyone else is doing, you're guaranteed to get a tiny sliver of that pie. Guaranteed. Because that's what everyone else is doing and you can straight up copy them. You won't get exactly the same results as them because you weren't the first one to do it, so you'll end up getting a little worse results, but you'll still end up getting a tiny piece of the pie. Or you could create your own damn pie and have the whole thing. Thinking big is shooting for the moon. It's trying to hit 1 million views on a video, but not just trying, actually planning and working to make that happen. Most people would say that's impossible, but if that's what you think, that's likely what you will get. Really, the only thing stopping you from being a massive influencer and accomplishing more in 1 week than others do in an entire year is the way you think. So again, if you think small, you'll stay small. But if you think big, you can grow your business and brand as big as you want. That's a wrap for this section. Hopefully by this point, you have a very solid understanding of how to create content that gets shared. But you might be wondering, once you create that content, how do you get your first 100 people to watch it? How do you get your first 1,000 people to subscribe to your channel? You have to get the ball rolling somehow. How do you do that? You'll find the answer in the next section, which is all about growing your audience. We'll tackle the question almost everyone asks us. How do you get that initial fan base? And to do so, we're going to go in depth into the blog and forum strategies that we've used to get massive publicity for all our channels. I'm so excited for you to grow your channel. I'll see you in the next section.